Every single weekday between 1 and 2 p.m., we release our Central Indiana Scoreboard Show, our ESPN Radio Sports Center style podcast that features the Pacers, Colts, the Fever, IndyCar, IU, Purdue, Ball State, and the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana. Please join us again every weekday from 1 to 2 p.m. Right now, you're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 262.2. Reaction to the Pacers Game 4 129-109 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers to take a 3-1 lead in the series. I'm joined by our Pacers guy, Mike Rich, our NBA guy, John Robertson, and our pro sports guy, Will Retherford, who powered through his dental issues. And we were later joined by Tipton Tribune and Elwood call leader sports editor Michelle Garmon with her thoughts.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, Pacers fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt. With me, our Pacers guy, Mike Rich, our NBA guy, John Robertson, and our pro sports guy, Will Rutherford, after one of the most incredible... Oh, producer Susie, right here.
I'm here too.
Up by my side. James Johnson now dropping jumpers on Cleveland in one of the most incredible Pacers performances in the history of the franchise. Let's start with you, Mike Rich. I did not see this coming.
I felt like they were going to win one of the two. I thought they had to come in and win one or two at home.
I've been saying all along they were going to win this game.
Yeah, and I thought, damn, Cleveland's won, been on win streaks of 16, 15, 12 all season. I mean, so to beat them, 3 times in a row would be almost impossible. They responded extremely well tonight. God, I mean, it was just unbelievable. I think that has to be the best half I've ever seen in Pacer basketball history. 80 points and and what was so impressive, not the points, they can score the points, the defensive effort that they put on Cleveland, the turnovers that they caused, freaking fantastic. I mean,
that's the difference, really.
That was the difference. And I mean, it was just so much energy, and you're just sitting there watching that game, and you're just like, I mean, it was probably hard to keep the crowd into that game because they were doing so well.
Yeah, after halftime for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
this is about empty now. By the way, 1:15 left to go in the game. It's Pacers 129, Cavs 104. Trust me, if you didn't get to watch the game and this is your first time finding out what happened, it was not that close at all. It was all Pacers from the start. John, your thoughts on what we saw tonight? We've been calling for strike first, strike hard, no mercy, and we got that tonight.
That's absolutely what we got tonight. We've said pretty much every day we've talked, said we want to see the Pacers come out, be aggressive early, and then keep their foot on the gas, and that's what they did. They were clearing the glass, they were rebounding, they were passing, they were just doing all the things that they do well that makes this team great, and they did it consistently. I was happy to see them fighting for rebounds. I was happy to see good ball movement, and then everything after that just continued to be positive. So when you see those things, the Pacers win.
Will Rutherford joins us despite coming off recent mouth surgery, so he sounds a little like a chipmunk. But Will insisted that he needed to come and join us tonight, even though the plan originally was that he wasn't going to. Will, your thoughts as you painfully speak to our listeners?
Yeah, I thought it was a great win. I think they took Cleveland's will really early in this game. There was a stat I saw that at one point in the first half they were 17-3 in assists, and I think that perfectly displays what Pacers basketball is all about. It was a team effort tonight in the first half. Miles Turner got real hot there at the end of the first half, but just an excellent team win. This is maybe one of the best first halves ever put together in an NBA game. I mean, this was an all-time, half of basketball the Pacers put together, and it couldn't have come at a better time. They needed this win really badly tonight.
Final score, Indiana Pacers 129, Cleveland Cavaliers 109. The Pacers now lead the series 3-1. There's so much to talk about and like about this game, Mike. I want to start with, Miles Turner, of course, the longest tenured Pacer. Man, what a night for him. What he did at the end of the half. We were saying on the text chain, this is your chance to put it away. Put him in a body bag, whatever the Karate Kid reference was at the time. And that's exactly what Miles did.
Yeah, Miles was phenomenal. I thought from the start, I thought Siakam was phenomenal. I thought going down low and banging and, breaking up at 3-2 defense and, and being able to kick it out for the 3-pointers. Everybody was hitting. I mean, keeping Evan Mobley out on the perimeter and being able to, just take it to the hole. And then your guards are driving to the hole. McConnell, Halliburton, everybody was just driving to the hole. And that's, we were asking that the whole game the other night. It's like, why aren't they taking it to the hole? Why are they getting stopped? And then they're getting so far behind in the offensive series, and they're forcing up bad shots. I didn't see a bad shot in the first half. I mean, they were just hitting everything. They were hitting on all cylinders. They were
Really
pumped.
good selection.
Say that again.
Really good shot selection.
Really good. 100% agree. Just really good shot selection from everybody. But I mean, it wasn't really hard to select. I mean, the way the ball was moving and the assists that were created, I mean, made it easy to take the shot. I mean, yeah, it was just all around, just fantastic game to watch. First half was just super exciting. I was paying more attention to our chats in the second half than, the basketball game, because I mean, that first half was just like, wow. I mean, yeah, I don't know what I don't know how Cleveland responds here in a couple of days in Cleveland. It'll be interesting.
That's my question, John. Is it over?
I still think Cleveland has a chance to win one more, but I think the Pacers take the series. I've said for the last 3 days, if whoever wins Game 4 wins the series, and I stand on that.
Yeah, now there's no doubt in my mind. It's just a matter of how many games. Don't want to jinx it. Producer Susie's a big don't jinx it person, but my opinion is, I mean, Cleveland's got to be dejected. And
you saw it.
Yeah, that was when you get a belt to ass game, kind of like what the Pacers just put on the Cavs. I do think it takes morale away, and especially Donovan Mitchell. I don't really know what's going to come of that ankle injury, but it didn't look good. Non-contact injuries really never do. It was strange, and I just think that I don't know what Cleveland has for the Pacers at this point. I really don't. I wouldn't be shocked if the Pacers went to Cleveland and brought home a win, because I just think that they're playing that much better. Defensively, they've been so physical this entire series. They've just worn on the Cavs. The Cavs looked worn down tonight. They looked tired. They looked gassed. They looked discombobulated. This was one of the 20 points doesn't do this game justice. This was a 40-point dominant win. It just baffles me that it took the media and the national media this long to recognize that this is the way this Pacers team plays.
Yeah.
That's been a trend for decades, though. Like, no one watches the Pacers until they have to. I mean, that's even in the 90s and whatever, that was the case.
My hat's off to, Kevin Pritchard has put together just a fantastic team to watch. I mean, if you're young and just becoming a Pacer fan, this is so exciting to watch. And
probably the most likable Pacers team of all time.
Oh, absolutely. I think Carlisle fits well. I think, no real superstar. I mean, Halliburton I wish he was more consistent. That's the only thing I can say in regards to his game is I wish it was more consistent. I wish the game he played tonight, he could have put forth the same effort on Friday night.
Could have had a sweep.
Yeah. But he wanted I think he wanted to, let Will get that prediction of the 5-1, gentlemen.
Yeah, it'll feel good if it happens. I don't think tonight happens if Game 3 goes the Pacers' way, because I don't think the Cavs, they just weren't going to get swept. I mean,
No.
they just weren't going to get swept. I think that this game is a direct result of what occurred Game 3. One thing I do want to mention is that first half, the passing was just so elite. If you go back and rewatch the tape of those shots, every shot is in rhythm. There's the reason they were all great shots, because every shot, the pass was hitting them in the pocket for them to go up into a shot. It looked effortless. It looked controlled. They just look so in capacity within themselves tonight. There was nothing forced. I mean, Tyrese got basically face guarded the entire game by Strus. I mean, he had to work for everything he got in that first half, and then, I mean, second half he didn't really play a whole lot, but every pass was just so pure. And I mean, at one point, I think it was the turnovers were 4-13 in the Pacers' favor late in the first quarter, early in the second. And I think that is an indication of if they figured out that 3-2 zone, they forced him out of it, and they just took control of this game.
We now welcome in Elwood call leader and Tipton Tribune sports editor Michelle Garmon to give us her thoughts on the win. Again, one of the greatest performances in Pacers history, Michelle.
Oh, most definitely. I don't know that I've ever seen a half of basketball as fun and as executed as well on both ends as what the Pacers did in the opening half tonight. I mean, 80 points, yes, we know they're explosive, but then to hold Cleveland to 39 is, it's just great. But I loved it because I loved the fact that the Pacers kept the game full court on both ends of the floor. I mean, after makes or misses, they were picking up Cleveland, in the full court defensively, and then they pushed pace again tonight. Just kept that pace going. It was kind of wicked for the Cavaliers, and it will be interesting to be a fly on their flight back to Cleveland, just to kind of get their mindset. And I wanted to say too, I was especially happy to see the play of Obi Toppin, his aggressiveness. I know he hit the threes when he did. I thought he took a couple of threes when he could have driven, because when he drove inside, I love it. John, you were right in our group text that those jams are just a lot more exciting. And he finishes them because really he and Siakam were the only ones, because for as big as Miles Turner is, he's not a throwdown guy. Not up and over people. I mean, if he's coming slashing in and gets it, but he won't go up and over somebody and put it down.
He's had a few throughout the season that are pretty big, like posterizers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he doesn't do it often, but he has it in him.
In the playoffs.
I've never seen a Siakam poster.
No, not a Siakam, but a Turner, yes. Siakam, I think, is much more like spin moved and dive for the basket and get a good layup and then falls on the floor. He makes me so nervous how often Siakam's on the floor. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
right there with you, John. I see him hit the floor almost every time he takes it to the hole. So I don't see him posterizing anybody unless he's landing on them.
Hey, I will say this, though. Toppin, for all of his dunks, that baseline move and up and under may have been my favorite basket of the night.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
I love watching Obi Toppin play basketball when you're getting good Obi Toppin. He is one of my favorite Pacers to watch. I mean, I love how everybody has their role and they play their role, but just as far as like fun to watch, when Obi Toppin is playing well, he is spectacular highlight reel player.
All right, guys, how did DeAndre Hunter finish that game? How was he allowed to finish that game?
Go ahead, Will.
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
In the
it's
replay, I kind of understand now why Matherin was ejected from the game. But if he's ejected,
yeah.
he certainly was much more violent in
Yeah,
response.
I mean, I did say that in the group chat. I felt like if you were going to throw Matherin out, which, I mean, he did instigate what happened. It was soft. I think it's a soft ejection for sure. But you can't not throw Hunter out there, too. It's unethical hoops, is what it is. The fact that he was allowed to stay in that game and Matherin was a mortar tonight. He fell on a sword for this team because I think it did rally and really kind of spark that run. But the NBA officiating sometimes I don't really have much answer for, and tonight was definitely that play in particular was something that I'm going to question for a while.
I'm going to agree that sparked or lit a fire under the Pacers. Even my daughter, she's 12, she's watching that. She goes, the Pacers are playing for Benny. So, like, every time something good happened, she was just cheering for Benny. So I think that, lots of people felt that. Like, I really think that it was felt that. I think it was definitely soft, and then on the shove was ridiculous. I don't know that I like the way that triple tech was called or whatever, and the ejection I thought was, I don't know. I didn't really like it, but I'm not going to sit here and complain about it because I think it definitely helped the Pacers elevate after that. They were like, let's screw this. Let's leave no doubt. They were like, let's not leave it to what would have happened if, let's just leave no doubt. And they did it. They did it hard.
I think Matherin set that whole thing up. That was a total setup, and I think he flopped when he got pushed because he knew he was coming at him. He knew it, and he flopped, and he drew more attention to that than But I don't think either one of them should have been thrown out. I think that I agree. I think it was a soft foul, even if it's his fist in his sternum. I mean, come on, and that was a soft flop on Hunter's part as well. So I mean, I don't know. I think the NBA is soft, and I think I think the refs just were like, well, we just need to keep this under control. So we're gonna enforce our authority or whatever, or authority, or So I'm like, whatever. That it was ridiculous, but I was so happy how the Pacers responded to it. It did. It just fired everybody up, and they were playing for Ben. So.
What I'm wondering, guys, what do you think? Mitchell, it might have been rest, but the fact that he didn't come out and sit on the bench with his teammates for that entire second half, I mean, what do you think's what's up with that? Or do you think the injury is possibly more serious?
Sure looked like it in the replay. If he can't even put weight on it, I can't imagine he's playing 2 days from now, but we'll see, I guess. 80 to 39 at halftime, by the way, everybody, in case I didn't say that. Pacers shot 60% from the field in the first half, made 12 of their 18 three-pointers, 30 to 6 points in the paint. And, guys, Obi Toppin. As Mike Rich knows, for the last year and a half, all I've said is I don't like this guy. I don't like him in the rotation. He's the worst defensive player. Last year, I graded a game where he scored 24 points and he gave up more points than he scored. I was not a fan, but man, has he been good this year. And so much improved defensively, I can't believe it.
Greg, I think the whole team, I think somebody said it, they were in the top 10, the NBA since December in defense. I mean, they've really made a lot of adjustments on defense. I think, the start of the season was tough, and it was a tough, 10 and 15 or whatever, the first 25 games. I think it was a tough start, but I really think, they had a little bit of a break, and they had some time to practice, and I think they really paid some more attention to defense, and it's starting to show. And I think tonight I was more impressed with the 39 points at halftime than I was the 80. I mean, that was just unbelievable to hold one of the highest scoring teams in the NBA to 39 points and a half. I mean, The Pacers have let that happen in a quarter. So for a half, I'm just super happy and super impressed to watch that.
I was also impressed. I think at halftime, 4 or 5 Pacers had 4 or 5, 4 more, maybe 4 Pacers had 4 more assists. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
All right, here I go, guys. TJ McConnell tonight, 13 points and 8 assists in just 18 minutes of play, plus 9. He was a big difference in the second quarter when Carlisle went to the bench for a long time, and all the bench did was extend the lead and extend the league. So here we go. MCCONNELL McConnell. Everybody. No? Okay.
Pass
Not
on
yet.
singing the song.
Yeah.
I put my headphones on because I didn't know what the voice message was going to be in the chat, and so I put it on, and I looked at my wife and said that was not worth putting on headphones.
Gosh.
No, I liked that TJ and the second squad were doing really well. I liked that Rick let them run because there was no point to put the starters back in at that time because they were holding and extending even. So let the starters get the rest. I thought it was really solid. Like I said earlier, I think sometimes he lets that go too long when they're not extending the lead or when they're losing a little bit. But tonight it made sense to run that way.
Yeah, I think that a rare Carlisle using the bench effectively tonight. I think that he really kind of played his chess pieces perfectly. The only starter that played over 25 minutes, and Nimhard played 30, Tyrese played 26. So, really other than that, Ben Shepherd played 29 minutes tonight. That was second on the team, which, if you've listened to this podcast for the last...
That's a good sign. That's a good sign when he's playing 29 minutes.
Yeah, And I like it because they're rested. It's one of those where I think Cleveland kind of benefited from it being such a blowout too. That their starters got some time off too. But if Mitchell can't go, he's been the only thing that's kept them in this series. If he's not scoring 40 points, I just don't think Cleveland has a chance. I'm so fortunate that I'm not forced to pour vinegar and bleach in my eyes to watch him play basketball if he doesn't play in Game 5 because he just disgusts me. Just unethical hoops. What happened tonight, I don't want to say that it's right what happened, but it is the basketball gods showing, hey, you don't play the game the right way, there are consequences.
All right, show of hands, everybody. Who thinks it's over on Tuesday night? Okay, you're going to have to actually say something. This is not...
I've stood on it. I stood on it when they won the Buck series. I said Pacers in 5. I'm absolutely standing on it tonight.
If Mitchell's a no-go, I say Pacers in Cleveland. I think they'll take it in Cleveland.
I'll agree with you, Mike. I think if Mitchell can't play, or if he's limited in his, what he can do, or if he starts but can't finish, then I think it's the Pacers in 5. Yeah. I don't think they make another trip back to Indianapolis. Or
I don't care if Donovan Mitchell plays or not.
Rest up for the Eastern Conference Finals.
I don't care if Donovan Mitchell plays or not. I think the Pacers are winning Tuesday night. Can they beat the Celtics if they get past them?
Yeah, yes.
They're going to have to beat the Knicks.
Oh, interesting.
I'm still, just to go back real quick, I'm going to take Pacers in 6. I still think it's going to be 6 just because with this team we've seen when they have a big loss, they come back and play really hard and play great. When they have a big win,
they learned a lesson tonight.
I'm just saying when they have a big win, like it seems like they slump out early in the following game. So as much as I would love to say Pacers in 5, I think I'm going to say Pacers in 6.
John, I don't think that you're wrong in that analysis. I do think though that Cleveland, this trip to Indy wore them out. I think they looked real tired. They looked exhausted.
For sure.
I don't think it's going to be the same because they're not going to get the 2 days rest. They're playing basically 36 hours after this game's over. They're going to be turning around and playing on Tuesday in Cleveland. I think that extra day benefited them a lot. help them get reset when they came to Indy. I don't know. I just feel like that I could be completely wrong. I like this aura that the Pacers have right now, and I think that you saw Cleveland just get kind of imposed on a little bit. They just looked mentally and physically defeated tonight in a way that I didn't even see after that stunning Game 2 loss that they had.
I had in my first quarter notes that they just looked frantic. Cleveland looked frantic, desperate, and frazzled the entire game. Like, I really did. Like, I think that you're absolutely correct in that assessment. I just personally have seen too many times this season where the Pacers play down to their expectations. Mm-hmm. So I do think the Pacers are going to win the series. They could easily get it done in Game 5 if they come out with the right mindset. But just track record, I worry about them stuttering coming off of a big win.
No, I'll tell you, I do like the Pacers' depth. The fact that they have the depth, and Greg, you asked about like the next series, and I know they haven't won this one. If they are fortunate enough, and hopefully they do take it in Game 5 on Tuesday night, I do think that they have a really good chance to make the NBA Finals. I think their depth, the pace of play, because of the depth they have and the pace of play they play at, they wear teams down. And I know you guys talked about it in Cleveland looking frantic. And I mean, by the end tonight, by the fourth quarter, they just looked drained. They looked exhausted, not just like desperate, but exhausted. And they have looked tired in the fourth quarter of almost every game that they've played in this series. And Cleveland is not, I know that, the first couple games, they didn't have all their pieces, but still, I mean, they have a little bit more, quality depth, I think, than some of the others. I like this Pacers team. If they stay healthy and they continue to play together now, they will have to get better they will have to come out and play more like they did tonight in their first quarters. They're not going to be able to continue to be, have bad opening quarters, but I just like this team. I do think they can make a run to the finals. And a lot of it is because of their improved defense, too.
Absolutely. That is a big factor. And, of course, all of us will continue to talk about the Pacers over the next few days. And hopefully the next few weeks as they continue to make their very impressive run. Very good night to be a Pacers fan. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I am now going to head from headquarters in Jeffersonville to Stage 22 in Elwood, and then get up in the morning and go be a teacher. So thank you so much for your time. But I wanted to watch Game 4 with my girl, producer Susie. So I got to do that, and that meant a lot. So great night. Last word. Let's start with Michelle.
Love what I saw tonight. Hope the Pacers just continue to keep their foot on the pedal and not let up and leave no doubt. I mean, I think they have a golden opportunity to come out in Game 5 and set the tone and put the rest of the NBA on notice that, hey guys, we're a serious contender. We're here and we're not going anywhere. And that's what I hope they do.
Pacers are lucky enough to win this series. They're winning it all.
I think the Pacers showed who they are. I think the NBA's on notice. My only thing that I'm slightly worried about is I need the Pacers to get out of this Cleveland series healthy. I'm a little worried about some dirty play coming just, because of the way Cleveland players have been talking about what's going on. I could see them starting to do a little shoving and a little nasty, so I'd like to see them get the dub and get out healthy.
I agree, John. I hope they get out healthy and without any type of suspensions, because I think it's going to be a tough game in Cleveland. And if it comes back to Indy, it's going to be another really tough, hard-fought game. But I mean, if the Pacers can play like this the rest of the playoffs, and Halliburton can be your seventh leading scorer with 11 points and win by 20 points, 20 plus points, could have been a 40-point game. I mean, I think the sky's the limit for this team. I really think they have a chance of getting out of the East. I feel like this might be a little recency bias because if you had asked me Friday if they were coming out of the East, I would have said not a chance. I think I said the ref sucks, and Greg said no, the Pacers suck that night, and they did. I went back and I watched that game, and
The refs sucked too, but it was way
they
more about
did.
the Pacers
They
sucking.
did, but I think the chemistry's right for this team. Um, I'd really, really like to see a Pacers Knicks Eastern Conference final. Um, I think we match up better against the Knicks. I think we would struggle with Boston.
I think Boston would struggle with the Pacers. I just don't think this Boston team is that good. I just don't. They don't seem to have the it that they had last year,
No,
and they
you're
are
right.
very thin up front. Very
Yeah,
thin.
yeah. I think they don't have the it they had last year.
And my prediction coming into this was that the Cleveland Cavaliers were going to win the whole thing. I don't see any reason why the Pacers can't if they can close out the Cavaliers in the series. That's my final word. Thanks, everyone. And thank you for listening. Always appreciate it. If you like the Central Indiana Sports Report and want to know a way to help us continue to grow and thrive, all you have to do is share these podcasts with your friends and family. I humbly thank you in advance. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susan.